is kind of a new boxwood for us. We'll call it a temporary boxwood. So the story is that one of our vendors misshipped our boxwood a few years back, and through tracking through the vendors and talking with them, we positively identified this as Buxus Faulkner. We haven't grown Faulkner. Faulkner's grown a lot on the West Coast. It is a Zone 5 boxwood. Companies like Monrovia and that use them a lot. But it's a nice boxwood. It's a mid-size. I know Cheryl put in here tiny hedge, but some sites list that. But it's really kind of a medium-sized boxwood. It's not a real dwarf boxwood, but it handles trimming very well. It makes a nice small hedge. It has glossy foliage, very dense, definitely more compact than like winter gem would be. So an all-around nice boxwood. I'm sure some of your customers out there use it, but it's new for us. This is just going to be one time through. We have 4,500 of them, so we wanted to get them on as soon as possible. We need to move these. We did come out with a good price on them. I know Danny has them on the specials list that he just finished up. So we wanted to get that out there. I think it's a very adaptable boxwood. It's got some good value. Unfortunately, we weren't looking at adding another boxwood in, but we have it. So see what you can do. If you guys have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me. But you can find a lot of information on the web about this thing. It's been around for a little while. It's not in any particular program. It was in the PTW pot because of the plan it was supposed to be. But we decided just to keep it in the PTW because we don't have any restrictions on that for this plant. So there you go. So give it a try. Next is Green Beauty. So we haven't talked about Green Beauty in a little while. You can see here, really nice plant. This one really has a good, thick, glossy leaf. It does very well in dry conditions. It can really tolerate a lot of abuse. It's one of these boxwood that came out that was really bred for its ability to handle like parking lot applications and things like that. It's going to do way better than velvet and some of the others. So very tough, nice looking boxwood. We have 500 of these. There'll be some more rolling on as we go along. I think we had some Green Beauties last year as well, but you can see here, we got really nice size on these and we're starting to roll these on. All right, next is Independence. So Independence is the second one in the series for us for the new gen boxwood. So this is in a new gen pot. Independence is going to be different from Freedom. Freedom is more of it's not really an upright. It's kind of a little more egg-shaped or a little more upright growth, but it's still not a pyramid type. Independence is definitely a lower growing boxwood, good mound to round shape, very similar to velvet in its habit of growth. It's got really nice color. You don't get any of that yellow margining in these. They really bred these really hard for that. And also the big deal is that it is boxwood blight resistant. So that's the big deal with this. We now have a boxwood that can compete with velvet, where velvet can be susceptible to boxwood blight. This has excellent tolerance to it. Also, the other disease like Volutilla, which boxwood can get, it has excellent resistance to that as well. So these are the first ones to come on. We did look at, we talked with Danny. We brought the price down a little bit, kind of an introductory offer. So we really want to get some of these out there, get everybody primed up, get some of them out, see how they do in the winter. They're great plants. I think they're going to do very well. and just get people excited about them so we can really start to rock and roll next spring on these. So new one there again, if you have any questions on this, there's a lot of information. It's through, Saunders Brothers, and we have handouts and packets on these that we can get to people if you need it. So good to go there. Next, Cotoneaster Tom Thumb. So I fell into these, literally fell into them. It was you want to talk about cold calling. Somebody cold called me that I haven't heard from in a long time and said they had these and they looked great. So they got me a photo, and they're just fantastic looking Tom Thumbs. I do not know why they had them, but they had them. And they're really nice 1 gallons. So we decided to put 500 of them on to sell immediately. And then we're going to take some of them and bump them up as well. So we have some for the future. But we've been out of Tom Thumb for quite a while. So, get out there, let people know that we do have these Tom Thumbs, and it looks like we'll have a supply for the spring as well. So if you don't know, Tom Thumb, very slow grower, low to the ground. Usually it's only going to put just a few inches of growth per year. So it's probably better for like small areas, maybe rock gardens, things like that. And I think it's still a fairly popular plant. So. Tough to grow though, in a nursery environment. It's a little harder to grow, but we've got some great looking plants, and take note of that. Grass, lightning strike. So this was a newer one that came out last year. It's in the PTW program. It's a Calamagrostis type. So it's just like Carl Forster, except for the variegation. So has a real nice variegation. We've really liked it. We had good demand on it this spring, actually sold through the crop. This is the new crop. You can see here, we got good size now, so we're going. It does show really good resistance to rust, which sometimes Carl Forster can get some rust, but this one here seems to push it off. Very tough grass, a very tolerant grass. You can go up to zone 4 with it, can handle really tough installation areas, and it'll give you that variegated color. So great grass there. I don't expect them to plume for a little while. They'll probably, a lot of times Calamagrostis will be starting to plume now, but how our production cycles are, they're probably not going to plume for another 3 or 4 weeks. So, but there will be a plume. Next, we'll keep with the hydrangeas, keep showing you these beautiful photos. So we got little quick fire here. That is a today photo in the center. See there how it's loading up. Remember, most of these paniculata hydrangeas start white or green white, and then they change into their more traditional colors. So these will stay white for several weeks here, and then we'll start to get color in them. Really what triggers that is as the nights get a little bit longer. So once, we're starting to lose daylight every day, believe it or not, as hot as it is. Once we get to a certain point, they'll really start to color. These flowers are going to hang on for a long, long time. You got months of color coming on, so we're just starting the game. You can see here, this is a 2 gallon, how nice of a value that is. We also have a split trim on this crop, so we're going to have more coming on that'll look fresher in about 3 or 4 weeks. So, feel very confident. She's got 3,000 plus of these little quick fire. Hydrangea Little Lime is next. So, a little bit different type of color pattern. These will just continue to stay that greenish color all through their time. They're not really going to fade into any other colors until the flower's done, and the flower will dry up as we get late season. But very tough plant. You can see here, this is a 3. We also have some 2s out there. The 2s have been very popular this year, so we're starting to see a lot of pressure on the 2 gallon line, where last year it was the opposite. So we are looking into that in our production cycles. But we got some beautiful threes here, 1,500 of them ready to go. Vanilla strawberry, we'll round it out with that. So, huge flower, big impact plant, sturdy stems. You can see there how big that flower is already, and it's still, it's holding that flower up really well. It starts out green, then goes white, then gets that strawberry color, those pinks in it as the season goes on. So it's going to be greenish white right now for a couple weeks. Then we'll fade into pure white with little hints of pink, and then it'll change all to pink. So a lot of interest over the next couple of months and some great looking plants. Ilex Willimer. So this is a Willoway introduction from back in the day. Not a lot of people grow this out there. There are some growers that do it. A nice, compact, tough holly. We have it in a 3-gallon. She's got 800 plus on. This thing here does very well. It usually stays very short. So most of the time, you really never see a lot of winter issues. It also has a really thick, waxy leaf. So it tends to do very well. That's why it's been so popular in Ohio. It does very well in the mid-range northern climates. But we were out of these for a couple of years back, but we've been able to build our numbers up, and wanted to show you here how nice these look. So Ilex Willimer. Sorbaria is next. This is Sorbiflora. These are in a 3-gallon. We haven't typically sold them in a 3, but we have these. We wanted to move. I just actually drove by them. They're actually starting to have the flower heads form. So this is a summer bloomer, midsummer, heat of the summer. That's when this thing blooms. It's a very large shrub, so it gets very big. It's not a foundation plant. It's not your typical spirea. It's false spirea is what it really is. But it has a great white, very clean, crisp flower that lasts for several weeks through the summer. Very tough plant, great for banks. Sometimes people use them for erosion control, things like that. But we do have it in a 3, nice price for a big size there. Specials, so just click on that. Danny got the specials list together last minute yesterday. I thank Danny for that. Cheryl hurried up and threw a few photos in here. So I'm not going to go into huge detail, but you can see there the burning bush, how nice that is, how big that is. We got a killer price on that. Look at your specials list. Blue Maids, 5 gallons. They're just a fantastic value. I mean, that's what I'm shipping you. That's not the best one in the block. That's what I'm shipping. Blue Prince, you can see there as well. Very nice. You can pair Blue Maid with Blue Prince. Blue Maid or Blue Prince will pollinate Blue Maid. Go ahead and scroll down. I think there's a few more photos in there. So Blue Stallion, more of an upright type of holly. You can see there how it's pushing upright, very nice, dense. Some of the ones we've had in the past were a little thin on the bottoms. We kind of changed our practices for trimming. They look so much better. China Girl, we do have quite a few China Girls. We want to move those. And also that is a 3-gallon Nitiformis. You can see there we're over 18 inches, pushing 24-inch in a 3-gallon. Fantastic value. Please get these photos out there. We want to move this stuff. This is a limited time offer on the prices. Please get with Danny on your questions on that. But feel free to grab these photos and get them out there. Next, Texas Captain. So this is our 3-gallon crop. We talked, obviously you guys had the mini game. We talked a lot about the 15s. We still have some really nice 3 gallons out there. We'd like to move those. These also, we put a special price out there, sweeten the pot. So hopefully we can move some of these. Viburnum, summer snowflake, I think. There we go. So this is new crop coming on. We're kind of at spec, 18. Don't oversell it, but it's a nice solid 18. But it's just, they look so nice. They're starting to just really push out flower heads. This will have just clusters of white flowers all summer long. It reblooms. That's its big claim to fame. It will continue to bloom all through the summer season. It really loves the heat. It's one of those plants that perform very well in hot weather. So this would be a nice one to talk about with the weather patterns we've been having. This will hold up on the lot very well. It does take quite a bit of water. When it's in the container, but it naturalizes very well. It doesn't particularly like wet areas once it's planted, but in the container, as it's pushing new flowers really hard when it's hot, you got to make sure you keep it watered. So, all right, was there any others?
No, that's your last picture.
Okay, so inventory, Cheryl's getting some more inventory in there. She's really starting to load up the fall buckets. She'll be working on that a lot next week. Finish and rolling. Anything we were kind of waiting on. For the most part, she's done rolling the 21 crops. It's more evaluating, can we pull forward on 22s? And also some of the extra canning that we've been doing this summer to beef up our numbers from selling into some of the items. She'll be rolling those in as well. So you'll be seeing more numbers come on for later in the year. She's also going to be working next week on doing some bulk rolling, B&B. So that will be going on. They'll initially roll it on to the average or smallest size in the block. And then as we keep pushing on and we see that growth, we'll split the sizes out and evaluate how many we'll have for each size. As far as digging goes, I know we always get requests this time of year to dig because there are a few people that do it. We are not going to be looking at any kind of digging till we get more towards the end of August. At that time, we'll just have to evaluate the conditions. But I think we have a lot of items out there that will work very well in containers to keep people going for now. All right.